This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, I got 3 words for the bowling content producers all over the country. Mike, you can't stop us, Mike. You can't stop us. You can't stop us. You can't stop us.
They can't stop us.
They can't stop
They
us.
can't stop. Get it right. They can't stop us.
Mike, they can't stop us, Mike.
You're all up in everybody's grill tonight, son. You all right?
They can't stop us, Mike.
You're like the mad rapper. Tell them why you're mad, son.
What's happening, man?
You had me hyped because you didn't tell me you're good. I really thought you were going to say the name. I thought those are the 3 words you were going to say. Say the name, son. Go ahead.
They can't stop. Mike, they can't stop us, Mike.
Oh, man. That was a great show, wasn't it?
Dude, it was so good. It was such a good show. I was hoping maybe
it had everything you could want, honestly.
Yeah, and I was hoping maybe that Simo would have, instead of done that to the camera, man, he would have just went to Chad and I'd have been, yo, you remember that scene in Bloodsport?
If he pointed him out, you can't stop us.
Dude, after I won, I would have just gave him like the Undertaker look. I'd be like,
man.
Right to Chad. You can't stop us, Chad. You can't stop us.
Man. I mean, well, all right, we'll talk about it later. We're gonna get into our Masters
man,
review.
I just got a blow in the chat early. Oh, dude, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Fond memories, but let me tell you something real quick on the national championship game. Kansas winning by 4 cashed me a cool $12.50, Mike.
Nice.
It was a nice hit for me. So I was happy they won by 4 points. Yeah. So anyway. All right, Mike. Before we get into the Masters, me personally, I haven't really done a lot of bowling. I'm bowling some tournaments, but this weekend I'm going to practice. So I don't have really anything to talk about on my end. I know you bowled pretty okay. You had one good game I saw. And
I bowled terrible.
Dog and
I mean, I bowled okay. I don't know. I lose it. I can't. I find it. I lose it. I felt like I threw it good. I only missed one makeable spare early in the night, and I didn't let it ruin me. The first game, I missed one makeable spare. I think I had a split or 2, like 170, and then I got locked in and threw it really good and shot 268 the second game. Going spare, long string, spare towards the end, take it out. Then the last game, I just lost it again. I started the last game with the same ball as the first 2 games, just way further left. And then after the second frame, I threw it like great in the second frame, and I flat 10. And I was like, all right, that ball's no good. And it was a pin down ball, and I was like playing very far left. And then I switched balls to a UFO that was pin up, and that looked a lot better. But if I missed left at all, it was a split. And I split 3 times. I split 3 times in the last 8 frames. So, yeah, it was tough.
I'm gonna go on a little tangent here, because this is the reason why bowling is such a great sport, and I'll tell you why. Because there's no way to know like how the lanes are going to transition, and I feel like that's why bowling on a tough shot is so much better, or just in general bowling as a whole, right? Because like you don't know what's going to happen, like from game to game, even from like frame to frame. Like you could have the whole world one game and shoot 260 and feel like you're bowling on a house shot. You could have literally an arrow to hit, and then after like 3 to 4 frames, you have nothing all of a sudden, and you go from being super comfortable to like on cruise control to all of a sudden you're kind of almost in panic mode because you're like, holy crap, I didn't see that come in. I didn't see the lanes transitioning that way. Now, if you switch balls and you make the wrong ball switch, Now you're all out of whack. Now you have no idea what to do. And here's the crazy thing is when you're bowling a really tough shot like you bowl on every Wednesday or Tuesday, the wrong ball switch sets you back 100 pins.
Or starting with the wrong ball.
Oh, and that's where the game is today, right? And that's where the game is in 2022 compared to where it was in 1970 or 80, where one ball switch, all of a sudden, 2, 8, 10, big 4, 3, 6, 9, 10 chop, miss spare, and now you have a 35 in the third frame. And now you're like, holy crap, 40.
And you're probably shooting 150 or lower.
You're probably shooting 150. So now you're really scrambling. You start to panic. You switch to another ball, you move lines, and you really have to pray to God.
You're guessing.
You're guessing.
You know, guys like me. I mean, it's at best an educated guess what I'm doing out there. Right. Can I tell? And it's so funny you say that. Can I tell you what my best shot of the night was last night? So in that 268 game, I think it was early in the game. I went like 4-pin, I believe, to start the game. And I knew, all right, I got to move. I don't know if I have to switch balls yet, but I got to move, and I got to make a big move here, and I got to change the angle that I'm going at through the front part of the lane. And I got up on the next shot, and I did that, and I just aced it. I mean, I absolutely aced it, and I was like, wow, that was impressive because not only did I throw it good, but I threw it good off of a move, second guessing whether I should change balls or not, and sticking with the ball that I had. And turned out that I made the exact right move. It seemed like so.
So here's a tip, Mike.
And it's just such a more sport-like environment. And I know that sounds cliche because it's sport bowling, but it really is. It's so much more like a sport than it is like a game when you're playing it in that environment.
Well, here's the thing is, and here's a tip to people that are bowling on that shot or maybe plan on bowling on that shot. Is your misses tell you a whole lot about your ball reaction and if you're in the right ball or you're in the right line. So if you're bowling on a sports shot, even a house shot, and if you miss it right and you leak it right and you 2-8-10 and you miss it left and you go through the nose and you big 4, you're probably in the wrong ball or you're probably in the wrong line. But if you miss to the right and you leak it and you only 2-pin and you go through the nose and you miss a little left and you 4-pin or you 3-6 or you leave 9 or 8, you might be in the right spot, especially if the scores are low around you. You really have to know your environment. When you're bowling a tough shot, you're not looking for a 230 reaction. You're looking for a reaction that's going to get you makeable spares. It's going to keep you clean. And that's if you throw the ball pretty good, you're going to strike. And I say pretty good because you don't want to just have to throw the ball really good to strike. You want to throw it pretty good. You want to be able to make a halfway decent shot and still hit the pocket.
Yeah, but you still got to use. I think even if you're throwing it, not excellent every time, you still got to be hitting what you're looking at.
Oh, I mean, 100%. You still got to be online. And
you cannot. To me, when you're bowling on the tougher stuff, you can make some mistakes here and there. But you, at worst, you better be within 2 boards of what you're looking at.
Yeah, and leave makeable spares.
If you're looking at 15,
it's key.
If you're looking at 15, you better be hitting somewhere between 13 and 16. Or I'm sorry, 14 and 16. You got 14, 15, 16. If you're outside of that at the arrows, forget it. Like you're going to leave something that's almost unmakeable in almost every single instance. So for me, a lot of the time, it really because I think there's a tendency from us coming up on easier stuff, and and just generally like the way people learn bowling, is like it's easy to lose track of what you're actually looking at and watching your ball roll over the arrows, and really solidly evaluating where was my ball at the arrows, and I find
more importantly though, break point. More importantly, you really get to that level, the high level, you're really understanding where your ball is starting to hook and how it's hooking. Okay.
Yeah, I agree, but would you agree again that like if you're in that zone in the front part of the lane, you're pretty likely to be in that zone down the lane as well.
Right. But you're right, because if you're hitting where you're looking at in the arrows, most likely you're probably going to be close to your break point. But the key here too is once you get to the level where you're hitting that arrow consistently or the board consistently or whatever you're looking at area consistently, it's really important to start understanding how your ball's hooking and what the ball's doing when it's coming through the pins. And like I said,
we've talked about it before for sure.
We have. And it's important for people to understand that. You could also, on a house shot, it's the same thing, Mike. There's a reason why people bowl 800 all the time on a house shot compared to someone who bowls maybe 600 all the time on a house shot and can't bowl over 700, because your ball is probably not doing the right thing through the pins. And you're leaving 10 pins and you're leaving 4 pins. And people say, oh, when you caught an unlucky break, you just left 3 10 pins in a row. I mean, Mike, there's a reason why your ball left 3 10 pins in a row. It's not because you're unlucky. It's because your ball essentially isn't doing the correct thing through the pins in order to carry that 10 pin. And I feel like that's a different level on how people like look at how they bowl compared to what they don't look at.
Yeah, but and you're right. But and then you have what you have in my league is you have a lot of guys who are bowling at that level that don't have that knowledge level. Right. And I would include myself in that to a degree, up to a certain point. I mean, a pretty high point, but still up to a certain point. So yeah, it's a very tough environment. But Rob, as always, like I encourage everybody who listens to this podcast, go out, bowl on sports stuff, start a sport league in your area, start a sport practice session in your area. Let's build a grassroots movement around sport bowling. Again, I'll say this, I feel like I say it all the time, but it's important. It's such a different side of the game. Rob, again, on Saturday, I went to practice at Hal Lane. Shout to Hal Lanes. Shout to Mike Ormsby. He's been hooking me up over there, getting some patterns out for me. Greatly appreciate it. Rob, I go. 2 other guys show up, and I don't care. Like I set up the pair, right? But 2 other guys show up. They came in. I said, "Yeah, come on, jump on. Get in, put a name in, whatever you want to do." The one guy's like, "Oh, I just drilled a ball. I'm gonna try out my ball on this shot." And I'm like, oh, I told him, I said, he was using a very aggressive ball. It was kind of a shorter pattern. And I told him, I said, that's probably not the best ball to test out for what we're bowling on here. And he really, didn't know much about the tougher shots, really had never bowled on one before. Other guy comes out, practices a game, doesn't hit the right side of the head pin for the whole game, and packs up his stuff and leaves after the first game. Didn't say a word to either of us. And I was just like, man, like this is, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's an absolutely brutal experience. If you really don't, if you don't have that, have that experience, or you don't have a certain level of knowledge. But all right, so my league review was, bad the first game, 268 the last game, bad the third game, 590. Shout to my teammate, Mike DiGregorio. He bowled great. He probably bowled the best game I've ever seen him bowl in our sport league. Shout to Rusty Thompson. I think he shot like 760 last night on the pair to my left.
Yeah, he loves a short pattern. This
was long. This was long.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, but our long has some hook. Our long has some hook for sure. But yeah, he bowled good. He bowled good.
Our Rosenberg's getting some talk at the Masters. I like it.
Yeah,
I have 3 left. I have literally 3 left. We have 3. That's it. I have the last 3 left. So we probably won't make any more after that. So if you want your limited edition Rosenbergs.
Yeah, Brian asking, have we ever done an interview with Norm Duke? Yeah, Brian, actually, it's one of our earliest ones. If you go back on our YouTube page, it should be posted there.
Website.
And it's audio only. But go to our website. Sorry. Yeah, go to our website. And we did do an interview with Norm Duke. It was one of our early ones and probably one of our better ones. Let's see. Robert Mattingly asking about the Tom Smallwood sitcom. We'll get to that by the end, I would imagine. I saw it. I'll give some thoughts. Let's see. Okay. So, Rob, I want to tell the people. No. I want to just mention real quick. I know it didn't. The clip didn't work out for tonight, but folks, I did an interview last week. Okay, Rob was scheduled to do the interview with me. Turned out he couldn't make it. He had a last minute work obligation that he had to take care of. But I did an interview, and it's something different that we have never really talked that much about on our podcast, and it made me think like we should get more interviews in this lane of bowling. But it's a bowling technology interview, okay? So I did an interview with Gary Faulkner. All right, and he is the developer of the Paddock app, and great interview. He what we did, Rob, is he brought the app up on our screen, and he took us through the various sections of that. I mean, this episode is basically like a guide in how to use his app. All right, he designed the app. Brought him on, talked a lot about it, talked about his background in bowling. Like I said, he brought it up, took us through the whole app, took us through the various sections that you might use in there. I have it myself. I've been toying around with it for a little bit now. So I just want to mention it to you guys. Rob's going to get it up on our YouTube page probably before the end of the week here. I think that next week we'll probably show a clip or two from the interview as well. We wanted to get that on tonight, but Rob was running late with the time change here. So again, you're going to see that on our YouTube. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. Check it out, and if it sounds good to you, if it sounds like something that you might use, check out the app, the Paddock app. It's only $10 on the App Store, so you can check it out. Steven Gatos is asking how many lanes at Hal saw a flyer for a senior tournament. That's a good question. I think it's like 36. Something like that. But Steven, they Parker Bone just purchased the first 6 lanes, and they put a wall up on lane 6, and lanes 1 through 5. Lane 6 is not going to exist anymore. Lanes 1 through 5 are going to be not only the Bone Elite Training Center, but it's also going to be like a VIP bowling experience called Rev Rates VIP. So they're building it right now. I mean, every week when I go in there, they're adding to it and doing different stuff to it. So I already told them I want to be their first client in terms of the training center thing, because I would love to do that. So I'm sure when I go there, I'll have some feedback on it. But yeah, I think they got about 36 lanes, maybe 40 lanes there. But again, the first it really starts on 7 and 8, so they cut some of that out now. All right, Rob, Masters review. Let's get into it. It was the Masters. The Masters in bowling. The Masters in golf is this weekend. I don't give two shits about that. But it was the Masters in bowling. Let's review the tournament. You want to do our tournament rundown here? You want to start by running the ladder?
Yes. So yeah, that's how we normally start it. So let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in here with us, we have a standardized way of reviewing the tournaments that we started with the first event this season. So we've stuck with that all the way through, and this is one of the last times we'll be going through it for a little while. But all right, Rob, let's run the ladder, and by run the ladder, we mean we're going to go through each match of this telecast and kind of give our thoughts on the matches. All right, so go ahead, Rob, start us off.
I'm trying to get the scores up here because I don't want to. Here we go. I don't want to make any wrong, assumptions because you know how much shit we get for that. So Sean Maldonado loses to AJ Johnson in the first match, 199 to 143. Mike, this was a match that nobody wanted to win the first, what'd you say, 5 or 6 frames? I'd say AJ Johnson started to finally get a little bit of a rhythm. I think they transitioned a little bit, and that actually helped him on that match. And yeah, ended up beating Maldonado, who bowled 140. I feel like Maldonado could never just get comfortable. He just had that like kind of reaction I talked about earlier, where he just kind of every time he missed, he just made a huge like split or whatnot. So yeah, thoughts on that match, Mike? I mean,
first of all, I want to say I was impressed with how tough they were. I was impressed with how tough they were all week. I was impressed with how tough they were on the show. Rob, you know I love them tough, especially for the pros. I love to watch pros struggle and be frustrated.
Check it out. Hold on, Mike. Mike, I got to pull this up here. Charles, can we find a way to not have Miles on TV anymore? Guy is brutal to watch.
Why do you say that, Charles? Just because of his workman like form, or yeah, I don't know.
His hop, is it the hop? People don't like the hop.
It's usually the hop.
I'm not a big fan of the hop. I'm not a big fan of the hop.
Well, I also think that like Maldonado is one of those guys who, if you bowled in a league with him, you might be like, oh, come on, I could like wax this guy, and then he goes out and like shoots 840 or something, like something stupid.
I mean, obviously the kid's really good. I mean, there's
Okay.
no disputing that, right?
Yeah. So listen, they were insanely tough. I love them tough. So this was like perfect for me. This first match, honestly, if you watch throughout the week, Maldonado threw urethane like the vast majority of the time throughout the week. Okay. He used this white widow, this ghost widow, a few times. I saw it in his hand a few times. Okay. And yeah, other than that, he used urethane. And obviously on the show, the urethane wasn't a viable option. Otherwise, he would have been using it. It really looked no good to me from the jump. He missed a spare early on. So, A.J. Johnson gave him every opportunity, though, because he was lost to begin with, too, and ended up making a ball switch. But he was just able to get it together, get gathered, make his spares early on, make some good shots. I think he made a split early on as well, right? So A.J. was able to keep it together, and Maldonado never really got it going in that game. I know he shot like 140 something, but it definitely looked like a better game than 140. That was the kind of 140 I bowl in league, where like he didn't do anything crazy. There wasn't anything crazy. There weren't any like ridiculously bad shots, but it was like, well, bad break here, and he leaves the 8-10 in the 10th where it goes a little bit light, and then doesn't really carry well on some of the shots, doesn't strike much. So bad match to start out, but I assigned it to the tough lane conditions. I kind of expected that coming in.
Yeah, I feel like AJ Johnson just like was able to like make better shots down the stretch, and had a little bit room to miss. He had room to miss left on the left lane, and he had a little bit of room to miss right on the right lane. And I feel like he made
later in the game he did. Early in the game he didn't. Later in the game he did.
The transition helped him.
Balls, yeah.
The transition helped him, because his ball was doing cartwheels through the back end of the lane the first like 5 or 6 frames.
It was.
So next match I feel like might have been probably the best match of the show. AJ Johnson bowls Brad Miller.
No, the last match was the best match of the show.
Well, I mean, this match went to a roll-off.
This was a great match. This was a great match. This was a great show. But let's be clear, the last match was the best match of the show.
So they go into a two-frame roll. They're going to a one-shot roll-off. They tie at 224. All of a sudden, the lanes look really good. Brad Miller is throwing great shots. He's got a great ball reaction. AJ Johnson starts putting it together, right? AJ Johnson throws a double in the 10th, right? And then ends up throwing a really bad shot and gets a big break to tie. I feel like AJ Johnson could have really easily lost that match in the fill ball, but he caught a good break. And then
am I wrong? Am I wrong here that Brad Miller had the best look on this show?
The first game he did this match, but he lost his look the next game.
You think he did?
Yeah, I said it.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I mean, he had to change. There was definitely some transition, but when he threw it good, they were like no doubters.
This match, the next match.
No, even the next match. Even when he moved out a little bit, when he threw it, when he executed it well, there was no doubt the ball was going to strike.
Now watch the show again. Watch it again when he bowls Anthony Simonson, and tell me that he had just as good as reaction as he did against Simo as he did against AJ. I don't believe that. He had a great look against AJ. His look got a little bit shitty when Simonson came on the pair and started messing around with all that two-hander stuff.
Okay, fair enough. We'll get to that match. But, yeah, they go to the roll-off, right? And Brad makes a not such a great shot on the left lane. And then AJ makes not such a great shot on the left lane, gets very fortunate again. You mentioned how he got fortunate 10th. He gets fortunate again on that shot to get 8 and get the tie and push it to yet another roll-off round. Brad leaks it right, gets it back 2 pins, okay, I believe, in that 10th frame. And then, AJ kind of got up and just threw it out the window.
Oh, such a bad shot, too. It was. under that like pressure and under that spotlight, you miss a head pin. It reminds me of a Sterner shot when he threw it out the window, Mike. Under that like pressure.
Listen, we've seen a lot of this, and a lot of us know who have been in various instances of this throughout our different bowling experiences. The pressure and being in that situation and knowing
It's
you need
hard,
it,
man.
it is hard. And then when
Really
you put on top of it that they're bowling on something that requires nearly absolute perfect execution, I mean, it's like it's really top level athletic performance here is what we're seeing.
It's also experience in those moments too.
Well, yeah, we just had a comment about that in the chat too from Patrick D saying you can really see the difference in nerves from the guys without a title versus guys like Simo and Duke. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
But can I say though, Patrick, even Duke showed a little nerves towards the end of the championship game. He didn't make his best shots towards the end of the championship game. So like I feel like the nerves and the heat were really the story of this show. Because when the heat was getting transferred from bowler to bowler back and forth, that's where a lot of these things were decided. Right? So okay. Brad Miller moves on, beats AJ Johnson. We're done with that match. We're running the ladder here. Match 3. Brad comes in and he's bowling Simo. This match should not have been as close as it was because Simo missed a spare. Okay. He had some bad carry throughout the game. Brad put a string together, right? Stayed in it early with the spares, put a string together. I thought his look when he executed was excellent. You're saying that you didn't think it was that good. I'm going to tell you, go back and rewatch this match.
I'm telling you to go back and rewatch
Rob, I already went back and rewatched it. I rewatched it
again
right before we came on the air. All right.
Watch it again.
And I'm telling you, when he executed, his look was still really good. He did have to change what he was doing, and he struggled a little bit early with getting locked in with what he was trying to do. But once he got locked in and he executed, to me, his look really, looked good. But again, Simo's look in this game was off the charts to me. Bad breaks, the missed spare. Brad stays in it. He had him right where he wanted him. Brad Miller had Simo in this game. Dead to rights. And he gets up in the 9th frame. Well, really it was the 8th and 9th frame. But the 9th frame was really the killer. And the 10th frame didn't help either. But the 9th frame, he gets up and he leaks it right. Throws probably his worst shot of the entire 2 games that he was on the show. And washes out and opens, followed by somebody in the crowd going, yes! and him shooting a look over. We'll talk about that after we're done, perhaps doing our review here. He had him right where he wanted him, though, Rob.
Yeah, it's just lack of experience closing up the show, finishing it, Mike. Coffee's for closers, Mike. And Brad Miller is not, he's not there yet. To close a major and to finish up in the 9th and 10th frame, it's tough to do, man. Like you probably mentally start talking yourself out of it, and it's just tough, man. I've never been in that position, Mike, and I can't imagine how bad my nerves would be in knowing that you have Simo on the ropes and that all you need to throw is a couple more really good shots to maybe actually go to the finals and bowl for your first major. Mike, there's so much going on in your mind there. And, man, just to keep your composure, keep your nerves calm, and to make some really, really great shots to finish a game like that, it's easier said than done, Mike. Easier for us to sit here and say it, but
oh yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? And again, with the environment being as tough as it is, it compounds that. It definitely compounds that because all you got to do is just make a little error on this pattern they were bowling on. You're gonna pay the ultimate price almost every time. So
it just shows you how good though Simo is in general, like on a really, really tough shot and being able to like outshot his
Out execute.
one-handed opponents.
Out execute, man. You know, I mean, even Randy was talking about it on the show about how accurate Simonson was, not only in the front part of the lane but down the lane as well. So you're right. You know, he was out there really out executing them. All right, so Simonson beats Brad Miller and moves on to bowl Norm Duke. And Rob, like everybody in the bowling world, I think was rooting for Norm Duke. I wasn't, you weren't, Bill wasn't, Bill's dad wasn't. But I think other than the four of us, everybody in the bowling world was likely rooting for Norm Duke to win this match, win this tournament, ride off into the sunset. And can I say for just 1 second, you don't think we're going to see Norm Duke again?
Oh, I know. I mean, dude, I don't know why he must know something about himself that his body isn't doing the right things. Then for him to just really, it was surprising to me to hear him even talk about hanging him up. Because
I don't know
how good he's still bowling.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to me to be the kind of guy who's going to finish second in a major as the top seed and then say, I'm done.
I could understand, like, I would get why, like, Pete Weber would retire off of the under 50. I could understand why Walter Ray retired under 50 because they weren't doing anything. They weren't beating really anybody their last couple of years. Dude, Norm Duke is still competing and still winning. And I was surprised that maybe he wanted to finish on top, Mike. And that's what he said during his interview. Maybe like a Super Bowl, like winning the Super Bowl as a quarterback. You want to leave as a Super Bowl winner. You want people to remember you as a winner. You don't want people to remember you struggling to beat people and like barely holding on. You don't want to be that Ric Flair type wrestler who, shouldn't be out there wrestling. Like, it should just retire. So I understand that too.
So championship match here, Vintage Duke. Vintage
getting called the drama queen, and dude, we have a tough crowd.
Keith Poppity, what's good, son?
Our fans are tough, bro.
Delaware is coming hard. Calling Norm Duke a drama queen.
Norm Duke a drama
Always
queen. Not
has
even
been
a king.
Drama queen. Damn, son.
Not even a king. Wow, that's crazy.
Keith Poppity, Delaware coming hard. All right, Vintage Duke though.
Yeah.
In this game, Vintage Duke, with the exception being the 9th and 10th. Like I said, I just didn't really feel like he made his best shots in the 9th and 10th. I 100% expected him to get up there in the 9th and 10th and just absolutely ace the shit out of those shots in the 9th and 10th, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Okay, I wrote this down while rewatching the show because I want to be clear about what the situation was here. 7th frame of this match. Simo 153 with a spare up in the 8th. Duke 158 in the 7th frame with a strike up in the 8th. Who are you taking there?
I mean,
I'm like
I know.
So spare in the 9th, spare in the 10th. 9 in the fill still gives Simo the opportunity to get up and throw the first one and win. I mean, and man, he ate it. He ate it up. He ate that shit up. He wanted that. He wanted that.
I thought it was really funny too that Simo was using like ancient storm balls, like year-old storm.
I wrote down one of my notes: uproar flex. Uproar flex. Like, all right, you're gonna ban our recent stuff. We got gems in the closet. We got gems on gems on gems. We're the evil empire, son. What do you think? We don't got gems in the closet? We got uproar gems in the closet. The uproar, honestly, probably one of the best balls of the last 10 years or so. That ball was a beast. That ball won me. I had a state championship team where 3 out of 5 guys were throwing that ball. Okay,
I like mine. I was a big fan of mine. I think it was funny though that it was just seemed to be I don't know what the word for it is, but it seemed to be just kind of funny that he's using old ass Storm stuff on a show where their new stuff got banned. And he literally makes the uproar look fantastic. That ball was reacting like shit, like it was a 2022 release on that right lane. And he gets up and he just honestly throws probably one of the best shots I've seen Simo throw under pressure and on such a tough shot in such a big moment. And then, Mike, bowling history, Mike, you can't stop us. You can't stop us. So I saw someone ask a question in the chat. What did Simo
No,
mean
they
by saying
can't stop us.
I just say you
People
can't stop
keep
us.
saying you. No,
I
he
like
said they, and that's why I feel like you can bring into the conversation if he was possibly directing that comment at Brunswick. And if there's something to the idea, Rob, that you and I discussed previously, that perhaps other ball companies are behind some of this testing and some of this.
I wonder because it doesn't. I originally, my first impression was I thought that he was talking to USBC, right? Because obviously,
yeah, I
they can't
agree.
stop us. Like,
I agree. I mean,
but
Nico,
I like that
Nico in the
conspiracy
chat
theory.
too. I'm just trying to speculate. I'm sorry, Nico. I know it was probably directed at Chad Murphy in the USBC, but I'm
But
just
Chad
trying
Murphy
to
was
speculate.
sitting in the crowd, and I feel like that would have been even better if he was directing it to him. Like,
Well, you want it
can't
to be
stop us, Chad.
wrestling. You want it to be wrestling.
Well, hey, I don't mind a little back and forth with the fans, especially if one of the fans is Chad Murphy. If that comment was directed towards the USBC, which I think it was. But in reality, I love conspiracy theories, Mike. And next time I see Simo in Vegas, I might have to pull him aside and ask him, hey, who were you directing that to? And get it straight from him, But yeah, I don't want to get into the banning balls. I think we've talked so much about it in the previous month that I just did feel like it was interesting that he was using such old stuff to win. But knowing Simo, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, shit, the kid was using like a 1980 grenade, and he used that on a show. He's not afraid. The kid's got balls of steel, Mike.
He's a sicko.
On the bowling lanes.
He's a sicko.
He really does.
He's a sicko. He's a sicko. And honestly,
he moves, he adjusts. He's not afraid to do anything.
Like, what age was Belmo when he really started winning?
He was close to where Simo was.
I know. He was quite a few years older than where Simo's getting his start. And, take that for what you will. Right. So he wins his fourth major, his second major of the season. Player of the year race is now back on. He's going to have back on. Yeah, we're gonna talk PBA playoffs here before we go. He's going to have to beat Belmo in the PBA playoffs. And if Belmo gets knocked out, he's going to have to win the PBA playoffs to win, to wrestle Player of the Year away from Jason Belmonte. But let's be honest, Belmo's last game in this Masters was 137. Okay, that's how he went out. We know how he's been bouncing back after subpar performances in general, but specifically this season.
Here's my beef, Mike. My beef is the fact that the PBA playoffs are the last tournament of the year to figure out who's going to be Player of the Year. Okay, why is that? Why is that a beef for me? Is the fact where it's whatever match, it's essentially a one match format. So there's a chance that Belmo, and I'm just throwing numbers, can shoot 5 or whatever is a 2-game total, right? The playoffs.
No, it's 1-1, and if each player wins one, it's a 9th and 10th roll off.
Okay, but that's how you're deciding now the Player of the Year, right? Where, in my opinion, you should have a tournament like the World Championships, or a longer format tournament to decide the last tournament of the year. I would even be more than okay with the U.S. Open being the last tournament of the year. But now you're deciding the Player of the Year race based on a one match, where Belmo gets to draw our guy Bill O'Neill first round, which Belmo knows is not an easy draw by any means. So, and Belmo should have the advantage, right, on who he draws. But in reality, with a field like
It's
a
only
top
16 people.
field, you're going to get
Everybody's going to be good. There's going to be no freebies. We have a couple questions here in the chat. Rob, is the Player of the Year voted on, or is there a point system? It's voted on. It's voted on by the players. Brian M says wins 2 majors and he's 8,000 points behind Belmo. Doesn't make sense. But Simo skipped an event. He skipped the Colorado event, Brian. So consider that. Patrick saying, does the summer tour count towards Player of the Year? I mean, does it? Yes, but especially if Belmo is not bowling it, how are people then going to count that? Severely count that against?
Is he not bowling summer tour?
I mean, listen. I would imagine. I don't know. I didn't ask the guy, but I would imagine that he's out. Probably after July when they go up to Bayside. Unless he's going back and coming back for the Bayside event, if he's leaving after the PBA playoffs.
Is there even a summer tour, Mike? Have they
announced right now? They haven't really announced much. So yeah,
it's a valid question, Nico. That's a valid question. I don't even. You would think it's April. You would think that they would announce the summer tour by now.
But. Yeah, I hear you. Eddie in the chat saying this is all backwards. Majors are in the beginning of the year and the season is about over already. We need a longer season. You agree? I do generally agree, Eddie. Timing of that I think could be different, but
we're not going to argue against it because, Mike, what are we going to end up now with, like 4 months of no bowling again? Like we're just going to be like –
yeah, Patrick's saying that there is a summer tour and it's on the PBA website. I mean, they have the Bayside events during the summer. I know that that's going on. So, yeah, we'll check it out. All right, Rob, we got to continue with our review here. All right, we got to continue with our review. Where you want to start?
Ride with me, not ride with me.
Okay. For not ride with me, I'm going with EJ Tackett. Okay. And I'm going with EJ Tackett because, once again, he absolutely crushes them in qualifying. He's one of the top players in qualifying. Makes an decent run into the bracket, and then boom, 2 rounds, and he's out.
Yeah, he's been bowling so good this year, and
he's leading in average, but by a few tenths of a point over Belmonte with less games too, but still leading in average, and just not seeing the payoff.
No, I feel like he could have been talks of Player of the Year this year if a few tournaments went his way, honestly.
Agreed.
Not ride with me. Arturo Quintero, man.
Oof.
I'm not riding with Arturo because we've rode with him before. I've rode with Arturo before. Remember, we were pumping the mariachi music.
You were.
He finished 281st, Mike. He averaged 186 for 15 games. And I know he wasn't happy with that performance, especially how good of a year he's had. And he's kind of broke through a little bit this year, made a bunch of shows. He made a major show. So, yeah, I'm not riding with Arturo.
Okay. Where are we going? Oh, ride.
Yeah,
I'm going with Sean Maldonado.
You're riding with Sean Maldonado?
Yeah, I am. And here, I know it's surprising because he shot 140 on the show. You think I wouldn't want to ride with him. But you know what? He seems to be a pretty calm guy. Doesn't seem the type of guy who would fry out because he shot 140. Kind of seems like the type of guy that would be in a good mood because he finished 5th at the Masters and bumped himself into the PBA playoffs. So how can you be in a bad mood about that? Made a run at the Masters. It didn't work out, but I bumped myself up into the PBA playoffs. I got another shot at 100,000. Get to go bowl another event.
Mike, I'm riding with Norm Duke. I mean, that's to me like
you're riding off into the sunset.
I'm gonna ride. I want to ride off into the sunset with Norm Duke. I mean, how could you not?
Probably listening to some Journey.
Oh, it would be amazing to hear the stories. We've only interviewed him for an hour. We got him on the show a couple months ago for a live commentary, Mike. But for like a 4 or 5, 6 hour drive, even an 8 hour drive, for me just to talk about the stories and his. I mean, Mike, you saw the video of him bowling like his first show. I mean, the guy's been on tour for how long? It's almost like 30, 35 something years, maybe. Dude, the stories he must have in an 8 hour ride would be amazing. And just to how emotional. I love Norm Duke. He was my childhood idol, bowling idol growing up. The guy's always been a class act. He's always been fun. And yeah, I love Norm Duke, and it pained me to have to root against him. But Mike, fam's fam. Bill needed that to get into the show, man. I'm not going to root against, Bill to not get into the playoffs. So, yeah. So
let's go.
Right,
let's go. I see you, Hoss.
I see you, Haas. We might have the same pick here.
Who you got?
I'm going with B. Boho.
Brent Boho. See you,
Boho.
Hoss. See you, Hoss. I mean, listen, I'm not going to front. I'm not riding the Brent Boho hype train. All right. My man has a little bit of a funky, goofy style.
He finished fourth, Mike, in the qualifying.
I know.
Well, he could play, Mike.
Ahead of Belmonte, too. I understand this.
Play.
I just, it's a little funky of a style for me.
He went far, too. He
did, but he went lose and then took the last spot in the four guys for 3 spots.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. I don't know. I see you, Hoss. Brent Boho, though, for sure. Somebody saying I see you, Hoss, is Parker Bone. You can't give Parker Bone I see you, Hoss.
No.
Parker Bone's all-time legend. Can't be this. I see you, Hoss, is like somebody like new. Somebody that's like, yo,
someone
Hoss.
like B. Boho.
I see you, Hoss. Yeah, Brent Boho.
Like
I see you, Hoss. You feel me?
All
Parker
right,
Bone. Parker Bone, milk carton, maybe.
Maybe, but I got
Parker
a good milk
Bone,
carton.
milk carton. But I'll be honest, I wouldn't disrespect Parker Bone by putting him on the milk carton.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even do that, to be honest with you. Jerry Mars is saying worst of the week. All the guys showing urethane at the Masters. Come on, Jerry.
Already, man.
Come on, Jerry. That's every tournament.
Jerry, you bowl the Masters, and you're not surprised to see everybody using urethane on a tough shot. I mean,
Jerry, you
all
got
right,
to
Mike.
know.
Let's go milk carton while we're on that.
Michael Holloman.
Is that who you're
Michael Holloman? Michael Holloman, Rookie of the Year. Where's he been? Dude's missing. He's back this week. Second in qualifying. Third in qualifying. Win, loss out of the tournament.
Yeah, that's.
But I'll give him milk carton.
Give him milk carton. My milk carton award goes to one of my friends in my neighboring town here of Mesa, Arizona, guy by the name of Josh Blanchard.
Oh, that's a good one.
I
wish I would have thought of that.
Man.
I wish I would have thought of that. That is a good one. He was out there enjoying himself this week. Yeah, no doubt.
Good for Josh, dude.
Charles Reeves saying that I'm a patch pirate for the bone training center.
You don't know. That's not
Charles.
The definition of a patch
Come
pirate.
on. I'll pay. I'm a paying customer.
I'm about to talk about patch pirates. Don't get me on my rant.
We will in a little bit.
Dumpster diving.
Wait, hold on. I had a comment about your milk carton for Josh Blanchard. Interesting, because I follow Josh on Twitter, and he tweeted out this week, Rob, that these GSX pin setters that they have at Gold Coast, where they were bowling this week, that his ball just doesn't roll through the pins the right way for these pin setters. Chris Barnes commented on that post, and then I think later deleted it, that over time, these GSX pin setters, without maintenance, the racks get all out of spec. And I found this interesting, especially when you got to the show and Simo goes up and leaves that 4-9, I believe was it against Duke or was it against Miller? I forget what game it was. But he leaves that 4-9, and right away he starts saying, I should have taken a re-rack.
Yeah, here he goes.
Right? Yeah, and I thought, we're going down this road again. But then people on Twitter started to go that route, and I was like, yeah, but earlier this week you had Josh Blanchard, who's, great bowler, and you had Chris Barnes, legend, the doctor, both talking about this issue. So I don't know. Maybe there was something to it. All right, let's go dumpster diving. I'm gonna have fun with this one.
Oh yeah. Okay, I can go. I got to go by a gentleman. First off, there was a lot of A's in the bottom of the list here in the qualifying. And if you don't know what that is look at the names on the qualifying squad, and if you see an A next to it, it's an amateur. A lot of A's in the bottom of the list, Mike. I'm going with the bottom of the barrel, Mike. The guy who bowled every game and didn't withdraw. was
You're
15
going.
games.
You're going all the way down to the bottom
Dude,
of the dumpster.
I am licking the bottom of the dumpster right now.
You're going down. You're getting into the juice at the bottom where everything is
juice.
dripped down.
I'm going to the nitty gritty, the dirty shit. By a gentleman by the name, or it could be a female. I would, I don't want to be his name. Eric Wood, who was 973 under for 15 games with an average of 135.13. Mike, he was the
Where's
lowest.
He from?
Average.
Where's he from?
Loveland, Colorado. He was the lowest average.
Colorado,
in the field.
stand up.
Second, he out-averaged the bottom of the barrel by 14 pins. So the next lowest average was 149. So he lapped the field on the bottom of the barrel, 135 average, Mike.
Brutal.
Hey, and here's my piece of advice for Eric Wood. And I'm being serious here, Mike. I know we kid. Don't be discouraged. All you can do is go up from here, trust me. Couple lessons, work out your game. You will probably see a big jump if you bowl next year. But don't let it discourage you, honestly. Like,
how could you not see a big jump? My goodness.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Just bring a house ball and throw it at the head pin, and you'll see a big jump. I would imagine.
Mike, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say I could probably out average Eric bowling the Masters on that pattern lefty, Mike.
I don't know. We'd have to see. All right, here's my dumpster diving. I'm going to have some fun with this one. So there's a little bit of a story around here at Sweep the Rack that there was an internet troll, basically, who was talking a bunch of smack to our guy, Bill O'Neill. And this was back a while. This was a little while back.
Was this the guy that I was?
You know exactly where I'm going. You know exactly where I'm going. He bowled this tournament, and he was more than worthy of a dumpster diving appearance here.
Oh, I love it. I fucking love it.
There's a story that there was an internet troll who was basically like talking smack on our guy.
He challenged him.
He did. Times. He told Bill on social media, like, you suck, and I'll bowl you, whatever you want. Come bowl me. Yep. I mean, just totally insane, uninformed idiot bowler talk, right? So it turned out that Bill and PJ Haggerty bowled an event where this guy bowled. And they were in the paddock together. And PJ sees this guy. He knows him from their area. And he turns to Bill. He yells across the room to Bill and says, "Hey, Bill, this is that guy who was talking all that shit to you online that wanted to bowl you. Oh, you still want to bowl?" And, that's the story there, okay? So I'm looking through the standings this week, and I'm not going to front. Somebody actually sent me this. Somebody who knows this guy, who knows this John Peter Cana, and that's who I'm giving my dumpster diving gold medal to, John Peter Cana. Somebody who knows him actually sent me this. Sent me updates throughout the week with screenshots of where he was throughout the week. And reminded me that, this is the guy. This is the guy who was coming after your guy. So I had people updating me about this all week. Oh, I love it. I had to use it for my dumpster diving gold medal. Right.
Never forget. Sweep the Rack never forgets.
John Peter Cana, you done earned this one, son. You had this one coming. 384th place, 167 average, minus 493 for the 15 games. And I think most shockingly that I saw anyway was 209 high game. 209 high game out of 15 games. So
you know what the struggle is here, and I'm just
JP, you better get your game up. You want to come for our boys, son.
I'm looking at these scores here. Could you imagine going all that miles to bowl the Masters and your first 3 games are 137, 170, 133?
No.
You got 12 more games left, and you're just like, Jesus, no,
No.
Um,
Come on, Pavlenko. We're not coming at you like that, son. Come on. We're
that's
not.
funny.
We're not going there.
Yeah, but Pavlenko doesn't call out Bill O'Neill on
He
the
doesn't.
chat.
He
No.
doesn't. He doesn't. So
No, but
doesn't have to
Jason's a
worry
little bit
about it.
smarter than that to start calling him out. But hey, it's easy. Hey, to JP when all this thing was going down, I was right in the middle of all of it too. I was just like,
Oh my
dude, like
goodness.
it's easy to call someone out on the internet. All right, Mike, real quick. So let's go through spare shooter. The spare shooter we brought back because we thought it was pretty easy for this one, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, to me, Simo.
Simon, that
Spare
2-4-8-10,
shootout.
right? Yeah,
2-4-8-10, man.
yeah, it was awesome.
Sick.
Yeah.
Absolutely sick.
Yeah, for me it was AJ Johnson. Dude, my guy was shooting everything. He made that 4-9 in the first match. He made a 2-10, right?
Mhm.
I mean, dude, AJ is a great spare shooter, man. He is. So that's why he's able to make a lot of these shows when they're tough because of how good his spare shooting is.
Agreed.
So anyway, so that's our review, Mike. What a great show.
All right, it's a wrap on the Masters, man. That's pretty much a wrap on the whole regular part of the PBA season, Rob, and kind of brings us to the end here, which is the PBA playoffs. And you were mentioning before, and I'd like to get into this a little bit here. You were mentioning before that you don't like the PBA playoffs as an end of the year event. Go ahead.
Not. I don't like it. I like it because it's a great event, and I know it's exciting.
You don't like it being the penultimate event that possibly decides a yearly award like Player of the Year.
Yes. As the event itself, though, I really love the event. I mean, I love matches. I love match play. I love the fact that it's on TV a lot, right? Sunday, you have 2 shows, the 10th. 2 more shows one show on the 16th, 1 show on the 17th, 1 show on the 24th, 1 show on May 1st, May 8th. Mike, there is bowling on TV every weekend.
Yeah, but what do you think about a lot of those being taped?
I think the PBA in the past have done a really good job keeping those results under wraps. And there's been a lot of shows that Mike, me and you didn't even know. And
right.
I won't reach out to Bill or anybody really that I know who's bowling the show here and ask them the results because I want to be just as surprised as you when I watch the show. So yes, it would be great if it was live, but I think it's a little bit of high expectations to expect bowling to be live every weekend for as many times as they're showing it right now. So essentially bowling's going to be on TV every weekend until May 15th.
Okay. No, and I'm with it. Obviously, I like it better when it's live, especially if I can bet on it, which I haven't been able to do recently, and that sucks because I would have had the winners of the last 2 events, and I wasn't able to bet on them. But nonetheless, PBA playoff time, top 16 players. All right, Rob, let's quickly go through here and give the people a preview. The first show this Sunday is going to be a banger. You got Bill versus Belmo, and then Rash versus Troop. All right, so
that's one show.
Yeah, who you got there? And that's also one section of the bracket too. So one of those 4 guys is making it to the final 4. So let's talk about who you have in each one of those matches, Rob, and then who you have going to the final 4 from that group.
So tough to make predictions when we really don't know what the shot is going to look like. And I feel like that would dictate a lot of my predictions because any one of these guys could win this tournament, honestly. Like this just specific show. Belmo, O'Neill, Rash, Kyle Troop, right? Any one of these could win, but depending on what the shot looks like, I would make my predictions. Obviously, have to go with Belmonte. Hate to pick him over Bill, but the way Bill's been bowling this year compared to the way Belmo's bowling this year, it would be a complete homer pick if I pick Bill to beat Belmo.
There's a reason why they're 1-16.
There is a reason. Now,
if
I asked Bill who he pick, he probably wouldn't even pick Belmo at this point.
Let me tell this story real quick. So he made the playoffs by Duke not winning, right? And you knew that you didn't want Duke to win. I didn't want Duke to win. We were joking about it on Twitter, etc. So on Monday, I text Bill and I said, "Hey, are you as excited to make the playoffs as we are for you, or not really?" And he texted me back, and he was like, "Are you suggesting that I'm afraid to go and bowl him?" And I texted him back, and I said, "I'm sorry. I think I might be, but he's had a rather good year, and he's been awful focused and winning a lot." And Bill told me that I better get my apology letter ready because not only is he going to take down Belmo, but he's going to take down the title again. So I'm gonna put that out there, and I told him I'm with it, and I'll work on that for sure. But all right,
dude, he's got no fear. We know that. I'm just kidding.
I feel that. I feel that so much, right? But yeah, I'm gonna take Belmo too. Obviously, it would be stupid not to.
We're gonna have an apology. He's gonna make us write apology letters too, if he's listening, which we know he's not. But I mean,
Nico, that's a fair point. That Jason's never won the playoffs, and Bill has, and Bill's made a deep run in this even when he hasn't won. So tough to pick against Belmo here, though. But I will say this: if I can bet on this on Sunday, I will have a max bet in on Bill, regardless of what the odds are. I will put a max bet in.
So let's just talk about this weekend. We're just going to talk about this weekend's show, right?
We're going straight through here. We're going straight through real quick.
We're going to be here for another hour.
No, real quick. I got you. Rash or Troop? Who you got?
I'm going with Rash.
I'm going Troop there. I'm going Troop in that match. Who you got between Belmo and Troop to make the Final Four? Belmo, obviously, right?
Belmo. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next group of four: Simo versus Maldonado. Who do you got?
Is that who you got for the next? Because I got the two shows Sunday.
Well, you want to do the second show Sunday? All right.
Yeah, with Barrett, Packy.
Second show Sunday is Barrett, Packy.
Yeah,
I'll take Barrett.
Barrett.
I mean, I can picture Packy being a dark horse in this event, though. But I'll take Barrett there. Prather, Miller. I'm taking Prather. That's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Miller in the upset.
Really? You're going to take Miller there? Okay. All right. So Miller's going to be your dark horse to win there. All right, and then who do you got coming out of the Final Four there? For you, it would be either Miller or Barrett. For me, it would be Prather or Barrett. I'm going to take Prather there.
Miller.
All right. Okay. All right. You got Miller coming out. All right. So far you got Belmo, Miller. I got Belmo, Prather. Let's go to another group of four. Simo, Maldonado. Who you got? That's a no-brainer too. It's Simo. Buttriff, AJ Johnson. I'm going to take AJ Johnson in that match.
No, I'm taking Buttriff.
Okay. Who do you got making the Final Four there? Simo or Buttriff?
Oh man, what a match that would be! Simo and Buttriff. I'm going to take Simo. I mean, like that's like
okay. I'm going to take Simo again. I'm going to take Simo as well there. Let's go to the next group of four. Tackett versus Svensson.
Ooh, I'm taking Svensson in the upset.
Okay, I'm taking Tackett there, just based on the fact that he's crushed the early rounds of anything this year.
I know, but Svensson's a dark horse.
Okay, all right. Jones, Sherman.
I'm taking Tommy.
Okay, I'm taking Tommy too. So Tommy, for you, who you got, Jones or Svensson?
I'm taking Svensson.
Ooh, all right. So your Final Four then, Rob, is Belmo, Simo, Svensson, Miller.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I would take Jones. I would take Jones there in the Final Four. So my Final Four is Belmo, Simo, Jones, Prather. What a Final Four that is. Belmo, Simo, Jones, Prather. Wow. Okay, so kicks off this weekend. 2 live shows, 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Everybody should tune in. Check it out for sure. All right, Rob, are you ready to give the people what they show up for?
Yeah, that's always looking for this. My favorite.
Let's do it.
Worst of the week, Mike. There's been so much worst of the week this week. And with all the patch pirates out there, their honor and, trying to earn that patch, Mike, trying to stay on the ship. They don't want to get thrown overboard, Mike. So the patch pirates have been sailing around all over the internet this week. The storm patch pirates are out of control. And it's been pretty nasty. So there's a few of them. But my worst of the week is not going on as a patch pirate. It's going based on the Smallwood CBS show that aired last week, which I didn't watch because I forgot to DVR it like an idiot, and I don't know where to watch the replay. And I had a company to do a company event.
Okay.
But I've heard good things. I haven't heard really a lot of bad things about the show so far. And it was like the second highest rated show on CBS, which is great for bowling at a time where bowling needs as much public, like, good exposure right now as they can get, because they really haven't been doing good on the PR lately. Glenn Corbett, if he was trolling here, if he was, kudos to Glenn, because what a great troll it was. Jeff Wriggles posted about the show. His response to the show: I turned it off after 5 minutes. When Tom says I'm 35. Smallwood was 32 when he won a world championship. Clearly, Smalls wasn't a consultant on this, so I won't be watching. Mike, are people just that ridiculous to the point where it was the show didn't have his age right, so he didn't want to watch? I don't know what people do. I'm hoping this was a complete troll job.
Yeah, I watched the show. I didn't think it was that great.
I knew you were going to say that. If they didn't talk about adjusting the lane conditions and using the right bowling balls, you weren't going to like it.
Stop. Did you see the shot where he was watching the pro bowlers and the caricature that they had of the pro bowler? It might as well have been from that documentary I tweeted out with "Suck My Sack." I mean, it was like as stereotypical as you can get. And it wasn't even really that funny. I agree with some of the people in the chat. It wasn't even that funny. But listen, I'm not like a network sitcom guy either. I don't think that shit.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I know that I don't see you being a sitcom guy, Mike. I don't see you watching Seinfeld. I don't see you watching,
Seinfeld
Big Bang Theory.
No,
I don't see you watching.
Not into it.
So I don't. Nope. Once they said it was a sitcom, I said, "There's no way Mike is liking this." It doesn't matter unless they had real bowlers and actually talking about real bowling things. There was no chance in hell you were going to like the show.
No, I'll tell you a sitcom I like. Like, I like The Office.
Oh, The Office is great.
I like Parks and Rec. I like that because the comedy is funny. Actually funny.
It is.
Whereas to me, the writing in this show, it's just not funny. And I think that bowling serves a lot of funny opportunities especially if you can cross a little boundary here and there, which is probably hard to do. But
come on, man, at least give the guy a 3-ball roller.
I know he's carrying a single ball bag. I mean, come on.
What kind of ball did he have? Was it an alley ball that he was throwing?
Pretty much, yeah. There was a part of the sitcom at the end where his wife buys him his own ball because he decides to bowl for a living. Okay, now.
So let me say something on that point. At least the dude from WrestleMania that threw a bowling ball, Johnny Knoxville, at least he had an actual EBI Maxim that he threw during WrestleMania, which, by the way, the announcer used the Pete Weber comment during WrestleMania. And, of course, the bowling world goes crazy about it, because finally wrestling got some bowling content on it. We always talked about it. Anyway.
And it's tough. It's tough for me. It's tough for me to watch a show like How We Roll. And, they have a scene where, Tom Smallwood's character is in the bowling center. And, his quote unquote coach comes up to him and they're watching bowling on TV. And he's like, "Oh, well, my boy Tom here, he just shot a better score than the guy who's on TV." And someone like me, I'm just like, oh my goodness. Really? Come on.
At least make him a patch pirate, Mike.
This is just going to encourage every dope bowler in the world to be like, oh, I'm going to be the next Tom Smallwood because I bowl a better score than the guys on TV. That means I could be the next Smallwood.
If it gets people interested in the sport, then what's the problem with that? I don't see why you would have an issue with that.
Yeah,
I'm being serious.
I don't have a problem with that aspect of it.
That's what
I just think that it's selling a false. No, it's not like poker because this is an athletic thing that you actually have to have coordination and skill to do. Poker, as long as you know the rules, you can play, and luck can get you as far as skill for most other people. Nonetheless, I wouldn't have a problem with every Tom, Dick, and Harry who bowls a better score than the guys on TV.
Okay, so here's a quick question.
Coming out the bowl.
But here's a quick question because multiple people brought it up, and I brought the comment out. How does the bowling ball company not jump on that, Mike? Were they going to get charged too much money? How does like Motive or Storm or even like any of the major bowling ball companies not like reach out to CBS and say, yo, what does it take for me to get Tom Smallwood to wear a Storm shirt and actually use the Storm ball during the show? How do they not take advantage of that?
Right, or for his wife to be like, hey, I bought you this
Storm
brand new
Nova, right?
Right. Storm Nova. Here you go. Bought you this brand new Motive Jackal.
Did they miss?
And then he could have been like, "Damn, you should have just got me another Purple Venom Shock."
Yeah, or make like a bowl. I mean, think about how cool like a bowling joke, like an insider bowling joke, would have been like, "Hey, man," or imagine if he asked his wife and he said, "Hey, did they check the hardness of the bowling ball before you give it to me?"
Right,
dude, that would have been really funny, right? If they would actually had bowling people consulting the writers of the show. Right. True. And like be like, hey, like we should, make this bowling reference joke, right? And people in the bowling world would laugh. And then still you make it a comedy for like other people could laugh too. But I feel like that would have been really funny. Mike, they should have consulted us. Mike, I could mix comedy and bowling, and you would have had a really funny show for people that actually know bowling. Like, oh man, I can't believe I just lost. This guy went Brooklyn. Like, what a donkey. You know what I mean? Like, that's funny, right? Like, I don't know. I should write my own comedy, Mike. We could star in it.
I guess.
We could call people patch pirates. Mike, for Halloween, you could be a patch pirate, by the way. Dude, we'll get you like a Storm shirt and like a patch. I don't know why I just thought about that, but anyway.
Yeah, I usually do a family themed.
Well, you could all be patch pirates, and you could be like the captain of the patch pirate ship.
True. Okay. Here's my worst of the week. It's related to the topic from last week, but I had to do it.
The bowling ball hardness.
Yeah, it was. I just had to do it. Is that
still going on? Is that over like COVID, or is that
so this is from the 900 Global webpage.
Ooh, digging down, bringing out the heat here.
And it's not so much the poster that I'm giving the worst of the week to; it's the responses. Okay. Calvin Green was the poster, and his post was Storm is really screwing the pooch. Okay, that was his post.
Okay,
and listen, I mean, one way or another, like they produce soft equipment. Okay, so I would generally agree with that statement. Rob, here are the first 3 comments to his post.
Oh, the patch pirates.
These are the worst of the weeks. Here we go. Anthony Dan, congratulations, worst of the week. By the way, his logo is a global 900 logo too. So patch pirate, no question.
Oh, patch pirate.
He says, "Believe you are blaming the wrong people. You definitely meant USBC, or just keep using them since USBC thinks they are still legal 95% of the time, and their tests are very suspect and different for their spot checks versus approval tests." James Graham. Worst of the week. Congratulations.
We can't stop us.
At least he doesn't have the company as his logo. The word of the day is voluntary. Okay. Justin JD. You spelled USBC wrong.
Oh, the patch pirates.
They have to come out. They got to come out with their swords and defend the patches. Evil empire.
USBC is trying to put Storm out of business. I got into it on Facebook a little bit, and I asked a patch pirate, and I said, "Pirate," I said, "Why? Why do you think what does USBC have to gain out of trying to put Storm out of business?" And I got like all the pirates jumped on the ship, and they were like, "Well, because Chad worked at EBI back in the day, and he's got a personal vendetta against Storm." Oh, so in the 14 years that Chad Murphy has been with the USBC or whatever it was, like 12 years or 8 years or whatever the hell it was, right? All of a sudden, Chad Murphy decides one day to get up in the morning and go, "Okay, I've been here in this position since 2014. I've been here 8 years. It's time for me to put Storm out of business because I have friends that work for EBI." Does that make any sense?
No.
Chad is putting us out of business. Matey. This is like literally what's going on out there on the internet. Like, Chad Murphy hates Storm. And you're just like, dude, Chad is not out to get Storm. If Storm goes out of business, that is not good for bowling. That is not good for bowling. You get it? Like, Chad does not want to put bowling out of business because then he loses his job. And guess what? People like Chad, who have been in the bowling industry for 20, 30 years, have friends all over the industry. The bowling world is small, people. People in Brunswick, they work for Storm. People in Storm, they work for Brunswick. People in Motive work for EBI. People in EBI work for Global. Dude, they bounce around because the bowling industry is small. There's friends all over the industry. Chad Murphy is not trying to put Storm out of business. Now, is there something, weird about the timing of it all and the testing? Yes. But this is not a personal vendetta against, it's so stupid. Anyway.
People are saying worst pirate impression ever, but go ahead, give it to him, Rob.
Worst of the week.
Rob, I'm going to go off the wheels a little bit with my final thought here tonight. I went into the bathroom at work today.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
And, I almost got knocked over by the aroma when I walked into the bathroom. And we have poopery in this particular bathroom in my school. And the person who violated this bathroom in this way, I mean, there were like stains in the bowl and all that. It was just, it was wild and inappropriate what went on in this bathroom.
Where are you going with
before
this?
Before I went in there, bro? And it was just terrible because it was like it just smelled like poop with perfume on it. Is basically what it smelled like. And I know my mind wanders throughout the day. You'll have to forgive me. But what I started to think about when I had this experience was, like who comes in and violates the bathroom like that at work? Like, is that I don't know. Is that an acceptable regular thing? And then I started to go down the road and think about the idea of PBA players and like how do they handle this situation? Like, do you think there's a lot of PBA guys that are like absolutely going into the bathrooms at these bowling centers, some of which are probably suspect? Let's be honest. Some of which are probably pretty suspect and just like absolutely destroying shit. I mean, do you think there's guys out on tour that are like known for just absolutely like, if that dude goes in the bathroom, don't even walk in the bathroom for 10, 15 minutes after he's done?
Should we do a flat 10 list of the top 10 pros that destroy bathrooms?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, to me, it's I don't know. Like, I don't have the mindset to go into work and just drop a savage deuce at work. I just don't have that mindset. Like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't carry the thing of poopery into work, and like spray the bowl with poopery at work and then just absolutely savagely crush it. I just I don't know.
You didn't want to be around when the Traber brothers bowled on tour.
Oh, that's
Dave the Enchimont. Yo, the
Oh,
Dave the
my God.
Enchimont, the Traber brothers. So-
Dave the Enchimont probably took shits the size of Norm Duke. I mean,
Dude.
come on. Oh, that's crazy.
That's what literally goes on through your mind, Mike.
I mean,
anyway.
I don't know. You know, call me odd, but that's my final thought. I was thinking, like, man, I wonder if PBA bowlers have this same experience where they walk into the bathroom at work and it's just so foul that they regret the decision to take a piss at that moment in time. Like I did, I really regretted.
Deep cook.
I wish
Deep cook.
I just would have held it in and not gone in this bathroom.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I don't even. I don't. I know you don't. You don't even. You don't even know how to respond to my antics here.
I don't.
I know. I
like
know.
it,
What
though.
do you want me to? This is my head. Imagine living in this brain that I have, where
Yeah,
these are the
I'm
trains
down.
of thought that I go through throughout the day. But all right. Any final thought, Rob?
You know, I'm
actually somebody who used to work on Wall Street told me that that people were so savage in the bathrooms that they had to have clean. I swear to God, people were so savage in the bathrooms they had to have cleaning crews come in multiple times a day to the bathrooms. The bathrooms got cleaned multiple times a day. Does that go on in your office?
Dude, look at this.
Does
We
that go
completely
on
went
in
off
your
the
office, Rob?
rails.
I don't
Dude,
care. I don't
completely took a
care.
turn.
Log out. The
Dude.
show's over. It's fine. I'm off the rails.
Oh, that's too much.
Patrick is confirming Wall Street is terrible. I worked there for 10 years.
good.
Oh, my God.
So I'm going to get back to bowling, okay?
Oh,
because
Jesus.
Let's get back to bowling for my final thought. I think I've been seeing on the internet a lot of people that are still looking to trade, exchanging their illegal balls on the internet, that from Storm, that they're, asking about the exchange policy and the Storm website and doing all kinds of stuff. And I guarantee you, Mike, 95% of these people that are on the internet right now posting on the message boards about exchanging their, illegal balls aren't even bowling the USBC national tournament or bowling on tour or bowling any of the tournaments that these balls are banned or illegal. And I still feel like there's a lot of miscommunication and a lot of lack of really education and understanding about where they could use the balls and where they can't. Because just to be straight, and I'm going to assume most of the people in our chat that watch or listen to our show have a full understanding of like what's going on. But like for me, I drilled the Wolverine and I actually used it last week or 2 weeks ago when I bowled the tournament. I'm bowling the national tournament Memorial Day weekend, and I'm not even exchanging it because I could use it everywhere else. So why would I even exchange it? Now, don't get me wrong. It's just it'll be easy enough for me to be able to just drill a new ball.
Well, you get free stuff from all the time.
Well, I mean,
God knows
look,
where. I don't.
That
you don't share with anybody, but that's
exactly.
Okay.
Hey, sometimes you got to know people and you got to keep your sources tight. But all I'm saying is, like, people are just there's so much miscommunication and miseducation. Is miseducation a word? It might really.
Miseducation.
There's so much not understanding of what's illegal and what's not illegal that people are going through all this like hoops and paying money to ship balls back to Storm when they probably don't even really need to. To me, I feel like the big solution to this issue would have been if Storm would have set up a little booth at the USBC national tournament where they actually use the booth strictly to trade in balls when the people get to the tournaments, drill them, and take back the illegal stuff at the national tournament. To me, that would have been a little bit. Now, look, I could be completely off here, but any tournament that those balls were found illegal by the USBC, I feel like that Storm could have maybe, instead of having this whole shipping back, people could have just exchanged it for the tournament, like the national tournaments that they were illegal. I don't know. That's just my final thought. Like I said, I usually am wrong and my assumptions are wrong, but
I'm still thinking about who the PBA player is who's most likely to use poopery, carry poopery on him. Nonetheless, well, here's what I want to know in this particular situation is I want to know, and we're going to try and get word on this, Rob. Why is the PBA allowing these balls when the USBC is not?
that's a whole topic of conversation, Mike.
Right. So that's like one thing that I want to look into and kind of see, but that's a different topic for a different time when we have a little bit more time.
That's about a half-hour conversation.
It is, and we had
too much conspiracy theories, and
we had too much bowling to review tonight, and we like to stick to the bowling around here. So
and look, the topic is starting and here's my one last final thought before we log off, Mike. Stop with the hardness jokes already. When every post on the internet from any bowling ball company, there's always some dipshit now that goes, "Oh, the ball's too hard," or it's funny the first day or two that after it happens to make the memes. But when you're starting to make jokes about, is this ball illegal after like 2 weeks after this whole thing happened, the jokes are dead. Like, we had our fun with the balls and the softs and all that. The balls are hard, the balls are soft, whatever. But everybody's like, are they illegal? Are they hard? Like, dude, just stop. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's another possibility that there could be other further developments as well. But we'll see. We'll get into that if necessary.
This is the comment before the guys that make the hardest jokes love the Smallwood show. That's a great comment, Kevin.
Yeah, probably. You're right.
Follow us on social media. Right, Sweep the Rack.
I'm at the 215th. He's
Brooklyn
at Brooklyn Rob 11. We're at Sweep the Rack. Follow us there. Email us, sweeptherack@gmail.com. Check out our website, sweeptherackbowling.com. Check us out on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. We need the subscribers. Hit us up. Give us the subscribers.
Spotify, Apple, iTunes.
Check us out wherever. Okay. Spread the word. If you want a rosin bag, we only got a few left. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't forget to say the name, son.
Oh, say it. Oh,
they can't stop us. They can't
say the name, son. If you want the smoke, just say the name. All right. Rob, live bowling on Sunday. We'll be back with the people on Wednesday to recap these shows and see where we're at.
Yes, sir. Peace. Oops, wrong one.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.